Think of your kidneys as the most sophisticated microchips in your body. But here's the terrifying part. Unlike your liver, these chips have no reset button and zero warranty. Once they're fried, they stay fried. Most people are unknowingly destroying their filters with every meal because they follow a one-size-fits-all diet. But a food that saves a stage 2 kidney could actually be a death sentence for stage 4. I'm going to show you how to read your body's hidden SOS signals before the sick care system decides it's finally time to notice you. To really understand how to save your kidneys, we have to look at the numbers, and specifically one number called eGFR. This stands for your estimated glomerular filtration rate. Think of it as a speedometer for your kidneys. It tells us exactly how fast and how efficiently those tiny filters are cleaning your blood. Now, the scary thing is that 1 in 7 adults in the United States, that's about 37 million people, are walking around with chronic kidney disease, or CKD. And the vast majority have no idea why is that. It's because the symptoms don't usually scream at you until you've already lost a massive amount of function. We categorize CKD into 5 stages based on that eGFR number. Stage 1 is technically normal with a score over 90, though in my book, we should call that stage 0 because it means you're still healthy. Stage 2 is when that number dips between 60 and 89. This is where the kidneys are starting to get congested and struggle, but here is where most people get caught in a trap. There is a massive truth that might shock you when you look at your lab results. You might see a line that says eGFR 60 and your doctor tells you everything is fine. But listen closely. That number can be a dangerous form of false security. The medical system usually doesn't flag your results or start worrying until you drop below 60. By the time that flag goes off and you're officially in stage 3, your kidneys have already lost at least 40 to 50% of their capacity. Think about that. Why wait until you've lost half of your vital organs before you start taking this seriously? If your eGFR is 65, you are technically in that 60 group, but you are right on the edge of stage 2. Your kidneys are working overtime, they're getting tired, but they haven't broken enough yet for the machines to beep. Don't wait for a lab report to give you permission to be a patient before you start acting. If you see that number trending down year after year, even if it's still above 60, that is your kidney's silent SOS. You need to act now while you still have the majority of your function left, rather than waiting for the sick care system to tell you it's finally time to pay attention. Once you hit stage 3, which is a score between 30 and 60, you are in the danger zone. This is divided into 3A and 3B. Stage 4 is severe damage between 15 and 30, and stage 5, which is anything below 15, is full-blown kidney failure. At that point, the kidneys are essentially shutting down. The reason we need to be so precise about these stages is that the foods that help you in stage 2 could actually be harmful by the time you reach stage 4. The standard kidney diet you hear about usually focuses on stages 3 and 4, where you have to be very careful with things like potassium and phosphorus. But if you're in the earlier stages, the rules are totally different. You have more flexibility, but you also have a bigger opportunity to actually reverse the damage before it becomes permanent. So, how did we get here in the first place? Why are these sophisticated microchips in our bodies failing at such a record rate? To find that out, we have to look at what's actually damaging those delicate vessels. So, if these numbers are so clear, why is kidney disease still an exploding epidemic? To find the answer, we have to look at the trillion-dollar paradox of modern medicine. In the United States alone, we spend over $4 trillion on what we call healthcare. 4 trillion. That is a number so large, it's hard to even wrap your head around. But here is the bitter truth. Despite that staggering mountain of money, the number of people suffering from kidney failure isn't going down. It's actually climbing. Does that sound like a successful healthcare system to you? Or does it sound like maybe that $4 trillion isn't buying healthcare at all, but rather sick care? You see, the system is designed to manage your symptoms after you're already broken, not to keep you from breaking in the first place. If you want to actually stay healthy, you have to stop relying on the system to do the work for you. You have to take the steering wheel. What's really driving this crisis? It's not a mystery. The vast majority of kidney damage is caused by 3 things: type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and immune-related inflammation. And if we dig even deeper, what is the common denominator behind those? It's what we talk about constantly on this channel: sugar and insulin resistance. When you have high blood sugar, it causes massive swelling and friction inside those tiny microscopic vessels in your kidneys. Think of it like pouring sandpaper through a delicate silk filter. Over time, that friction destroys the filter. Hypertension or high blood pressure does the exact same thing. It increases the strain and the pressure until those fine blood vessels simply give out. But here is where the sick care system fails you. When you have diabetes, the standard approach is often to just increase your insulin dosage to manage the sugar. But insulin itself, in high amounts, is incredibly inflammatory. It's like trying to put out a fire by pouring a different kind of fuel on it. A huge percentage of high blood pressure cases simply vanish when people reduce their insulin resistance through diet. Yet, we continue to spend billions on pills that only mask the numbers, while the kidneys continue to simmer in metabolic stress. We also see massive damage from over-the-counter drugs that people take every day without a second thought. Things like aspirin, Tylenol, and other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. We treat these like candy because they are available on every corner. But they are toxic to your kidney filters when used long term. You have to realize that by the time you reach stage 5, the system only has 2 miracles left for you. One is dialysis. Now, dialysis is a marvel of engineering. It's a sophisticated machine that filters your blood for you when your body no longer can. It keeps you alive, yes, but it is not a lifestyle. The 5-year survival rate on dialysis is only 35%. To put that in perspective, if you hit your 60th birthday as a healthy person, you can expect to live another 20 or 25 years. But if you're 60 and you start dialysis, your life expectancy drops to about 64. That is the reality. The system doesn't lead with. The other option is a transplant. The survival rate is much better, about 80%, but there is a massive line. There are over 100,000 people waiting for a kidney every single year, and only about 20,000 kidneys available. Most people spend their lives waiting in a dialysis chair, and many die before their turn ever comes. This is why I am so passionate about you understanding this now while you are in the earlier stages. You cannot wait for the system to save you. The fact that the U has only 4% of the world's population, but nearly 40% of all kidney failures should tell you everything you need to know. This isn't just bad luck. This is a dietary and metabolic catastrophe. The good news? Because it is a dietary problem, it has a dietary solution. But to implement that solution, we have to stop listening to the myths that even some experts are still repeating. We have to understand why the very things they tell you to avoid might actually be the keys to your recovery. And it all starts with one of the most misunderstood nutrients in the world, protein. Now, we have to talk about the biggest elephant in the room when it comes to kidney health, and that is protein. If you've spent 5 minutes researching kidney disease, you've probably been told that protein is the enemy. They say it's too hard on the kidneys, that it creates toxic waste, and that you should cut it out almost entirely. But here is where we need to look at the science, because for many of you, that advice is exactly backwards. To understand why, think about a broken bone. If you break your leg and you lie in bed for 6 months without ever moving it, what happens? Your muscles wither away and the bone actually becomes weaker because it never receives the signal to rebuild. The doctors will tell you that once the initial healing starts, you have to put weight on it. You have to walk. That controlled pressure is what tells the body to deposit calcium and make the bone strong again. Your kidneys are no different. They are made of living tissue. And just like every other part of your body, they require protein to repair and replenish themselves. If you have a mildly damaged kidney, let's say you're in stage 2 or 3A, and you cut out all protein, you are essentially starving the very organ you're trying to save. You are taking away the bricks and mortar the kidney needs to fix those delicate micro vessels. So, where does this fear of protein come from? It comes from a waste product called nitrogen. When your body burns protein for fuel, it leaves behind nitrogen. And a sick kidney has a very hard time filtering that out. But here is the secret. Not all protein is created equal. Imagine you're building a house. High quality protein is like getting the perfect pre-cut bricks that fit exactly where they need to go. Your body uses almost 100% of that protein to build tissue, your muscles, your heart, and your kidneys. Because the protein is actually being used for construction, there is almost no trash or nitrogen waste left over. But low quality proteins, like many processed protein powders or incomplete plant sources, are like getting broken, mismatched bricks. Your body can't use them for building, so it burns them for energy instead, creating a massive pile of nitrogen trash that your kidneys have to haul away. This is why your blood levels of albumin are so critical. Albumin is a protein produced by your liver that acts like a sponge, holding water inside your bloodstream where it belongs. When your kidneys are damaged, they start leaking this precious protein into your urine. If you don't eat enough high-quality protein to replace what's being lost, your albumin levels drop. This is exactly why people with advanced kidney disease get severe edema, that painful swelling in the legs and ankles. The water is escaping the blood vessels because there isn't enough protein to hold it in. So the aha moment here is this. Protein isn't the poison. The nitrogen waste from poor quality fuel is when you eat a whole natural egg, including the yolk, you are giving your body the highest quality building blocks available. Even though the yolk has phosphorus, the overall quality of that protein is so high that the nitrogen load is actually lower than if you just ate the whites. Now, does this mean you should eat unlimited steak? Of course not. You still have a nitrogen budget. Especially as you move into stages 3B and 4, you want to eat enough protein to rebuild your tissues, but not so much that you're forcing the body to burn the excess as fuel. For most people in the middle stages, that's somewhere between 60 and 80 grams a day, depending on your size. The goal isn't to avoid protein. It's to make every gram count. You want the most building blocks for the least amount of trash. By choosing whole, nutrient-dense foods and avoiding the processed sugars and refined carbs that cause insulin resistance in the first place, you stop the damage and give your kidneys the resources they need to heal. You aren't just managing a disease anymore. You are rebuilding a vital system. And once you understand this shift in perspective, choosing the right foods becomes second nature. I know that many of you watching this video right now aren't actually looking for yourselves. You are here because you're worried about a husband, a wife, or a parent who is sitting right next to you. The one who insists, I've eaten this way my whole life and I'm fine. I call this healthy secondhand smoke. You are breathing in the stress of their poor choices and you're desperate to help them before it's too late. But here is the hard truth. You cannot force someone to change their diet. Trying to lecture a loved one about eGFR numbers or insulin resistance often feels like you're attacking their character. To them, those favorite comfort foods represent a lifetime of habit and pleasure. When you try to take those away, they don't see a health champion. They see a drill sergeant. We have to change the strategy. We have to move from forcing to understanding the fear of lost freedom. Because that is what kidney disease really is. It's the ultimate thief of freedom. I know so many people who would give anything to go back in time. They are the ones sitting in a dialysis chair for 4 hours, 3 days a week. They can't travel. They can't play with their grandkids without getting exhausted. They have to measure every single ounce of water they drink because their body can no longer process fluids. That is the reality we are trying to avoid. So instead of arguing over a plate of food, I want you to talk to them from the heart. Don't use scientific jargon. Instead, say something like, I'm not trying to control what you eat. I just want us to have 10 or 20 more years together. I don't want to see you stuck to a machine 3 times a week. I want us to be able to go for walks and enjoy our lives without you feeling weak every single day. The goal is to make the why so powerful that the what becomes easy. Start with small, silent wins. Don't make it a kidney diet announcement. Just start swapping the high sugar snacks for a bowl of raspberries. Replace the inflammatory seed oils with high quality fats. Instead of processed protein powders that create massive nitrogen waste, serve a whole high quality egg or a piece of wild caught fish. When they start feeling better, when the brain fog lifts and the energy returns, they will realize that this isn't about restriction. It's about restoration. It's about giving their body the building blocks it needs to repair those delicate micro vessels we talked about. To all the silent heroes and caregivers watching, your role is critical. You are the gatekeepers of the kitchen. By choosing whole nutrient-dense foods, you aren't just making a meal, you are providing a medicinal intervention. You are helping them avoid the sick care trap and giving them a chance to truly heal. Now, to make this practical for both of you, we're going to look at the top 10 foods that can actually help cleanse and support your kidneys. These are the tools you'll use to rebuild. And remember, as we go through this list, we're looking at these foods through the lens of your specific stage, because what works for a healthy person might need to be adjusted for someone in stage 4. Let's dive into the list. Now that you understand the rules of the game, let's talk about the specific tools you need to win. When your kidneys are struggling, you have to think about your diet like a strict financial budget. Every milligram of sodium, potassium, and phosphorus is an expense. If you're in stage 3 or 4, your bank account is low, so you have to spend wisely to get the most nutrition for the least amount of metabolic race. First on the list is red bell peppers. These are a kidney superstar because they are incredibly low in potassium, but packed with vitamins A, C, and B6. While many vegetables are high in minerals that burden the kidneys, 100 grams of bell pepper only has about 12 milligrams of phosphorus and 150 milligrams of potassium. It's the perfect way to get flavor and crunch without the cost. Next, we have the berry family. My top pick is raspberries. They are loaded with fiber and antioxidants. But here is the key. They only have about 5 grams of sugar per 100 grams. Compare that to blueberries, which are great, but have twice the sugar and are higher in potassium. Now, a huge caveat here. You will often see cranberries and apples on kidney lists. While they are low in minerals, they are often high in sugar. If insulin resistance is what damaged your kidneys in the first place, adding more sugar, even from fruit, is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Only eat these if you can do so without added sweeteners. For your bulk vegetables, look at cabbage and cauliflower. Cabbage is a powerhouse. It's virtually free of sodium and very low in potassium, making it a safe base for almost any meal. Cauliflower is equally impressive. It's a great replacement for high potassium potatoes or rice. Just remember that cauliflower is easy to overeat. So keep an eye on your portions as you get into the later stages of kidney disease. Onions and garlic are your medicinal allies. Onions are low in the minerals we're tracking, but high in sulfur containing amino acids that boost your immune system and help your liver detoxify. Garlic is anti-inflammatory and can actually help lower blood pressure, which, as we know, is one of the primary killers of kidney vessels. And let's settle the debate on eggs once and for all. Egg whites are the gold standard for pure protein, but I want you to consider the whole egg. Yes, the yolk has phosphorus, but it also contains the healthy fats and fat-soluble vitamins that make the protein usable. If you are in stage 3, don't fear the yolk, just count it toward your phosphorus budget. It is better to eat one whole high-quality egg that your body can actually use to rebuild tissue than to eat 5 egg whites that create more nitrogen waste. Finally, we have the healing trio: garlic, ginger, and turmeric. These aren't just spices. They are anti-inflammatory tools. They help thin the blood naturally and reduce the swelling in those microvessels. Even a small teaspoon of turmeric in your cooking provides a medicinal boost to your body's ability to cleanse itself. The bottom line is this: do not wait for a sick care system to hand you a pre-printed list of foods when you're already on the brink of dialysis. Take control of your nutritional budget today. By choosing high-quality proteins and low-mineral, low-sugar vegetables, you are giving those fragile microchips in your body a chance to stop the damage and potentially start the repair process. If you found this information life-saving, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. We talk about the things most doctors don't have time to explain, because my goal is to help you master your health by understanding how your body actually works. Don't rely on the system to take care of you. Become your own health champion, starting with your next meal.